and organized private sector yet to take serious measures for implementation of the law. While workers across sectors are eagerly awaiting the implementation of the new minimum wage, Organised Labour want the federal government to release the modalities for consequential adjustment for a smooth process. Senior correspondent Sharon Ijason has details in this report.
Low-income earners are one of the groups of persons eager to start earning the new 70,000 naira minimum wage signed into law by President Bola Tinubu. Their expectations increased following the presidential assent to the new National Minimum Wage Act. I met with Siva Nosikbeme, a private school teacher in Lagos, Nigeria. He tells me that life has not been easy for him due to the economic hardship in the country. According to him, he and other colleagues are excited and waiting eagerly to start earning the new national minimum wage.
They should look into it. They should realize that this 70,000 naira is only for government workers, federal, state, and probably local government area. Then what about other sector, the private sector? So they should set up a committee, to ensure, because it is a law and it's supposed to be binding on every organization, whether public or private. So they should set organization or a committee to make sure that this national minimum wage, which is a national law, is applicable, is applied to every organization.
Out of the 36 states in the country, only Adamawa and Edo states have started paying the new national minimum wage to their workers. While other states have set up minimum wage implementation committees, others remain unperturbed about the development. In an exclusive interview, the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said organized private sector is expecting friendly policies that will help businesses thrive.
The last option would be for you to cut jobs, because it's not just for you to say, go home, don't work. Your operations too will suffer. It's a difficult choice that you have to make. If the only option is to right size, as I would call it. I mean, you need all your workers. You have trained many of them. You have invested heavily on them. You need them for your production. So it will only be when you can no longer sustain your capacity to remunerate them adequately that you let them go. So we are not anticipating that we'll have to downsize, but I mean, it will become an inevitable situation when your figures don't add up. And that's why when Mr. President announced that there will be support, we were eagerly looking forward to it, to be able to lean on it to cushion the effect.
Labour leaders also faulted failure of the federal government to develop a consequential adjustment template for the new minimum wage to be computed for full-scale implementation.
We were meant to understand that some state governments, like Adamawa State Council, and some very few states have started implementing the 70,000 minimum wage. So I want to call on the leadership of the state councils, particularly the NLC leadership and the TUC, to make sure that once the template is out, they should work out the real consequential adjustment for the implementation.
At several fora, the government has appealed to workers to exercise patience and wait for the release of the modalities to ensure better negotiation outcome. President Tinubu signed the new minimum wage law on the 29th of July after a long-drawn negotiation with organized labor.
Organized labor has resolved to wait for the release of the modalities of the consequential adjustments before further negotiations will take place with state governments. Sharon Ijason, TVC News.
In a recent gathering of Benue State professionals residing in Lagos State, Pius Akuta, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, was honored for his outstanding commitment to drive Nigeria's economic diversification and sustainability agenda. The event showcased the progress made under Mr. Akuta's leadership in regulating port activities and fostering growth within the maritime sector. TVC News senior business correspondent Ifunaya Eze reports.
The recognition of Mr. Pius Akuta underscores his significant contributions to Nigeria's maritime industry. Various speakers at the event praised his dedication to advancing the marine and blue economy, which is increasingly seen as a crucial component of the nation's economic framework. During the ceremony, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, represented by Mr. Charles Akiola, reiterated that President Bola Tinubu's administration is fully committed to leveraging the sector's potential as part of the Renewed Hope agenda.
The Nigeria Shippers Council plays a major part in the Renewed Hope agenda, being the economic regulator in the maritime sector, and has been mandated to ensure that the quality, quantity, and cost of services in the entire sector is moderated and standardized in line with global best practice.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume, who was also represented, commended Mr. Akuta's leadership, highlighting the milestone achieved by the Nigerian Shippers Council since his appointment.
I say it with all sense of humility, because if we look from where he took off to where he has come up to today that we're celebrating him, we will record the milestones he has reached, and every one of them is laudable.
In response, Mr. Pius Akuta expressed his gratitude for the honor and reaffirmed his commitment to fulfilling the Nigerian Shippers Council's mandate.
It's just an event to celebrate one of their own who happens to be appointed by Mr. President in this sector. And knowing that Mr. President has his eyes on this sector and the fact that he has appointed me means that he has given me a lot of responsibility to deliver on his mandate. Shippers Council will have to play a key role in delivering the hope agenda of Mr. President to Nigerians.
Outside Nigeria, thousands of people have been taking part in mass demonstrations across Israel after the bodies of 6 hostages held by Hamas in the